Now, let me introduce Karen Wagoner. Karen graduated from John Brown University with a Bachelor of Science degree in Business Administration. She and husband Roger have two daughters, Megan and husband Thomas, who have four children, and Emily and husband Joe. Roger and Karen reside in the Platte City area. Here is Karen.
Carry my phone, just sometimes I get a little bit wound up. I want to make sure I don't go over. So thank you so much for having me this evening to talk about Hillcrest, Platte County. It's something that I get very passionate about and really like to share with you what terrific things are happening within our organization. I know we've got a PowerPoint coming up, but I'll just quickly tell you the organization started in 1976 in Liberty. Someone saw a need to help those that are homeless. It's not your typical person that you see on the corner. The folks that we work with are working homeless. They have jobs, but they just can't make ends meet. And a lot of times they're single moms with children. We're seeing a lot more dads, single dads, and then families. So we see across the board a lot of people in need right now. So in 1976, it started in Liberty, and in 2002, the Platte County area was when they first established their first presence here in Platte County. In 2015, we did split off from the main group to form Hillcrest, Platte County, and that allows us to address the needs that we see right here in our own neighborhood. So Hillcrest, Platte County is a Christian organization that offers supportive services for individuals and families who are homeless or insecurely housed to achieve sustainable independence. HBC's goal, and I hate to stand here and read this to you, but it's important, is to break the welfare poverty cycle. The program provides a rent-free, fully furnished apartment with access to a food pantry. While in the program, our residents are expected to work full-time, follow a strict budgeting regimen, and attend classes to learn about basic life skills. We have a 95% success rate with families who complete the program. This is kind of hard to see, but I created this because anytime I'm out in the community, the first thing someone says is, "Oh, I love your thrift." Everyone knows our thrift stores, but they don't fully understand what those thrift stores do. The pinnacle of what we do at the top of the triangle there is our housing program. That's what we're all about. That's what we are in business for. That's what we all work. The goal we work towards is to graduate families into self-sufficiency and have the ability to be contributing members of society and to be able to take care of themselves. So the bottom part of the triangle is our thrift operations. We have 3 stores, 1 in Platte City and 2 down here in the southern end of Platte County. The big one in Picture Hills, and then the one right behind that is our clearance outlet, where things go that may not meet the grade but are still sellable, still usable, and that provides an opportunity for those that can't afford thrift prices to still go in and be able to shop for their families with dignity. So the thrift operation provides the funding for everything else that we do. The middle part of that triangle is our operations department, and my title is Director of Operations and Events, and that is what I run, and that is what makes the wheels go around, basically, to make sure we have apartments that are furnished and maintained for our families. We make sure the lights are on. I paid the bills. We handle all of the marketing, all of the communications, volunteer recruitment, and so that middle part of that triangle is what we're doing to basically lift up that housing program. So all of that is required to carry out that housing program. Our 90-day transitional housing requirements, they have to submit to budget counseling. Many of them have never had a budget. That's part of the problem, is they do not know how to say, I pay my rent first, I pay my utilities, I pay my child's daycare, I buy groceries. If there's anything left over, that's my discretionary spending. And so they're accountable for every penny. And if they're off, then they are docked points. And if if that happens too many times, they're asked to leave the program, because there are too many people that are waiting to get into that program that are serious about it and really do want to do the work to become self-supporting. They do have to submit to life skill classes. Those are every Tuesday night. That's where our director is tonight, is filling in that class. They have to work full-time. It can be 2 part-time jobs or it can be 1 full-time job, but they have to be working 40 hours a week. We have a curfew. If you don't have rules, you will never learn how to be responsible, productive individuals. So they have to be in at 10. They do have weekly apartment checks. They have to pass that apartment check. And they meet weekly with their caseworker as well. And so this is all part of that program and that accountability to teach them, how to be more responsible. Next steps to success. We found that we had families that after the 90 days really weren't quite ready to move on. Sometimes we have mamas that are working to get their kids back out of social services. They've lost them from poor choices. And so while they're with us, the state really likes our program. So they help us work with those families to get their kids back out of foster care. They sometimes they go into next steps to success because their debt is so large. And that's one of the things in budget counseling that we work on. Somebody may have gotten evicted and when you have an eviction, you cannot rent. No one will rent to you. And so we work with that prior landlord and say, okay, Joe's got $5,000 that he owes you and you're not going to get that. So will you take $2,500? And so we work with them. So he's happy because, he's gotten part of that rent back, and then they clean that off of his record, and then he can go on and be successful in leasing another apartment. And so some of those folks just need a little extra time. So we have a campus in Platte City designated as our next steps to success. So those folks that are working the program very successfully, working very hard, but just need a little bit of extra time, we move them into that program, and it's not quite as stringent. We give them a little bit of leeway. They pay $250 a month rent. When they graduate from that program, if they've been done a great job, if they've followed the rules, kept their apartment clean, and when they check out, the apartment is clean, we refund all of that. But what that does is that establishes a rental history for them. So we can say, yes, they have paid on time. So that helps them when they move forward because they have a referral from us. And so, and that's also another little nest egg that they can take with them when they go. So it's education-based, it's reunification of families, it's debt repayment. The rent is low, and then they meet monthly with their caseworker rather than weekly. The young adult program we started about, I think, 2017. We found that there was a need in the community. There were high school kids that were sleeping on couches and in cars and in parks. And we had a high school counselor call us and say, can you just take this kid overnight until I can figure out where to send him, because he has nowhere to go tonight. And so that kind of birthed, we knew that need was there, but that just kind of pushed us to go ahead and create that program. And so we take youth, I call them youth or kids to me, but young adults 17 to 23 can be in that program. And so that is primarily down on Northwood, real close to here in Platte County. And so we do take the kids in. They have a longer, they can stay up to 18 months. It's education driven. We have relationships where we can get internships for them. We want them to learn a skill set that will provide them with a wage sustaining or family sustaining wage going into the future. So something other than your minimum wage job. So we're wanting them to learn a skill, and we've had a lot of luck with that. But they meet again with a caseworker each week. It is education based, so they have to work and attend classes that total 40 hours a week. They have their life skill classes, and they also have their budget counseling. So that has been very successful. We have a blessings program, and the blessings program, we found that many of our churches said, we have benevolence funds, but we really don't know who's scamming and who's not, and we could use some help with that. So churches provide our blessings director with whatever they want to give each year. So say they give $1,000 a year to the blessings program, we double that. And that particular church has $2,000. And so when somebody walks in the door, you can give them the required paperwork. They set up an appointment with our blessings director, David Johnson, and they come in and they sit down with David, and David has them fill out paperwork. They have to prove that they are a citizen in the US, that they are working full time. They bring all of their bills to him. He checks out MacLink, which is an online resource that tells you where all they've been. and determines whether they truly need help or whether just, trying to scam the system. And so we have 35 churches that participate in that program. It is okay, I'm sorry, I'm jumping ahead. The senior volunteer community is another program that we consider as part of our thrift shops. A lot of times folks, when they retire, they feel disconnected, especially if they lose a spouse. They're lonely. They just don't have a purpose anymore. And so the community within those thrift shops is phenomenal. I love to go in there. I call it Santa's workshop, but when you walk through those back rooms and they're all working together side by side, they have formed friendships. We do a lot of things. We do breakfast, and pre-COVID, we did a lot of things. It's been a little bit tough this last year, but we try to build a sense of community with our older generation, and they really, really connect, and they love coming in. And they have told many of us over and over and over, "You saved my life. I just didn't want to get up anymore." And so we feel really good about that program. The thrift provides low-cost items to those in need. So that's one of the things, again, that is very rewarding to the thrift staff, is to be able to help that mom that comes in with 5 children that says, "I can't afford coats for my kids and they're cold." So we take care of that for them. And so it provides yet one more layer of a way that we can connect with the community and provide needs. And we also have a community service option. We have a lot of folks that the drug courts and the DUI courts will send us for community service. They have to work so many hours. And so that gives us an opportunity to touch them while they're with us as well. How HBC can assist your business. If you have a business, and this would apply to your church as well, provide program to homeless employees who qualify. Businesses are our best referral source. Oftentimes the HR department knows, they've got somebody that maybe Joe comes in and says, "I wish Harry would get off my couch. He's been sleeping on my couch and I can't get him out of my home." That we have literally had HR departments that refer those folks to us, and then we take them in and get them back on their feet and provide them with the dignity and the help that they need. We provide applicants for open positions to businesses here in the area. I know a lot of businesses right now are really, really hurting for employees. So when we have folks that are looking, we try to plug them into our area businesses. And then we also offer volunteer hours for employees. So if you have a youth group, or if you have a church group that wants to volunteer, a women's group, a men's group, we provide volunteer opportunities, particularly through the thrift stores, because right now we're really hurting because our volunteers are not wanting to be in the COVID environment. And so we've had to hire quite a few people to fill that gap. And so we are working diligently to stay ahead. Help homeless employees. If you, and this, I know some of you may not be employers, but if you pick up on conversation that somebody says, "My grandson's sleeping on my couch, I wish I could get him out," or we've walked into parking lots at night in the dark and found moms and children asleep in the cars. They don't want to be found because they don't want their children taken from them, and they're doing the very best job they can taking care of them. If you trip on something like that, or you hear about something like that, please refer them to our program so that we can reach out and help. So they may be couch surfing, they may be talking about eviction. I've got 2 weeks and I'm going to get evicted. Just direct them to our website. They can be submitted online. And I will tell you, I don't have on this particular PowerPoint, but just recently, one of the things we get really excited about being independent is that we are always looking at the community and saying, where can we help? The folks that are coming to us, we are seeing a lot of mental health issues. And I know you're hearing this in the news. It is an epidemic right now. And so decided that after much consultation and discussion, we opened a counseling center about 2 weeks ago, and we're super excited about that. We've hired a qualified mental health professional. She's phenomenal, and she is building relationships with psychiatrists in the community. And we are now providing professional counseling services to our folks. Our young adults come with abuse, with neglect. Our families come with, it's just the things that they present are endless. And so we really feel good about the fact that we now have that qualified mental health professional that can meet with them on a weekly basis. And she walks them through a checkup from the neck up is her tagline. And so we are super excited about what that program is going to do and where it will develop in the future. And so that's our most recent rollout. That's again a business related slide, but just to let us know if you have an opening anywhere, you know of an opening anywhere, we do put that on a bulletin board because one of the things we do encourage is if you're making $10 an hour, why don't we try to find something at $15 an hour so that you have a little bit more disposable income. And so I spend a lot of time in the community trying to find those positions and companies that I think I want to refer our folks to. So ways to get involved. Obviously, let us know if you have employment opportunities. You can volunteer. Most of our volunteering is at the thrifts, but we do have budget counselors. Sometimes we bring on mentors for the young adults. We have our annual gala and auction, and I do have a lot of flyers back there that detail the young adult, the 90-day opportunities for the thrift operations. And I have a gala card back there too that we're going to have to be virtual again this year, but we are going to play a video and that'll showcase stories from some of our graduates. And those are always really enlightening to hear what these people have been through and where they're at today because of the program. And it'll have a silent auction that runs alongside it. We have micro events that people are welcome to come to. And also a micro event is something that somebody else actually puts on for the benefit of Hillcrest. And so we have a golf tournament coming up here in September that Heartland Community Church is going to put on for us. Those are great ways to fundraise that doesn't take away from our time as staff at Hillcrest, because there aren't enough of us to go around. And so getting to let someone else take on that fundraising for us is phenomenal. Matching donations, if you make a donation, see if your employer will match your donations. And then donation drives. We've recently reached out to churches because our thrift stores were running short of clothing because of the unemployment numbers and all of the crazy COVID going on. A lot of people are coming into the thrift stores to meet their needs. And so we've been running really short on clothing. So clothing drives are welcome. So that is it in a nutshell. I know we're going to take our questions in a minute, so I'll conclude and hopefully we'll get to talk in a little bit.